What's good, y'all? This is your boy Black G92. Now, for today, as my return to doing reactions after another hiatus, this time dealing with like the internet acting up. So now it's back up and running. So I'm getting back to doing reactions. Plan on doing like at least 2 or 3 of them today. So y'all gonna have a lot more content coming from me like throughout this month. Just gonna be a video every couple of days, kind of spaced out. Maybe 1 or 2 videos a day. So it all depends how I'm feeling and depending if I got enough energy after work. Cause man, my job been kicking my ass with all these long ass hours. So I'd be tired of shit. But anyway, enough about that. Enough about all that other shit. We're gonna go ahead and react to react to Crypt's Everything Wrong with series. This time dealing with the game's Black Sim Shady, the Eminem diss he dropped 6 months ago, and of course the video came out 6 months ago. But anyway, I want to see what Crypt has to say about this song right here in about 3, 2, 1. And I thought about doing reactions to this song, but it would have been way too long of a reaction because I have to break down every last lyric, not break down the lyrics and such like that. And like I said, the song is 10 minutes long, so the video would have been long as shit if I ever did a reaction. But I did watch some breakdowns, mainly the one from, well, I watched a breakdown of Hip Hop Universe's channel, so I got the gist of the song. I also watched Diverse Mentality, aka Crypt's video on it, breaking down some of the lyrics and the rhymes and such like that. And for what it's worth, it felt like 2 or 3 different songs. Like, it felt like 3, 4 different songs mixed into one. Half of it being a tribute, another half being just like basically the first half of the song being a tribute, then the last half of the song, the second half of the song is like more so a diss. It's like poorly executed, by the way, and a lot of just generic, a lot of it's just like kind of generic shit that we've all heard said about Eminem in the past. And also, the only thing that was noteworthy was Game mentioning how Eminem's father was like 21 we got with Kim, who was 16, 17 years old when Eminem was born. That's the only thing that was hard hitting. But other than that, everything else was kind of just meh. But anyway, we're going to see what Crypt has to say about the song. I know we're going to go in because this Everything Wrong with series is funny as shit.
Last week, the game dropped the Black Slim Shady, which is one of the songs off of his album, Drillmatic. Black Slim Shady is a 10-minute diss track aimed at Eminem, and while there may be some high points and good bars in the song, that's not what this video is about. This video will undoubtedly get copyright claimed despite falling in line with the fair use policies that YouTube has. So if you really want to help me out and make this worth my while, make sure that your balls are clean, fresh, and shaven by using my code CRYPT20 at Manscaped. And for a limited time, anybody that buys the Platinum Package 4.0 and shows me proof on Instagram, I'm going to give you guys a follow back. It comes with so much stuff, including the body wash, the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, the aluminum-free stick deodorant, my personal favorite, the ball deodorant, but it also comes with the anti-nicking, waterproof, cordless, with the light on it lawnmower 4.0, and even the weed whacker to keep your ears and nose hairs clean. You also get a free travel bag with it and a free pair of anti-chafing boxers that are great for big dudes like me. Without further ado, here is Everything Wrong with Black Slim Shady.
Boom. What's up with the boo? I do not want to watch a fucking commercial when I'm doing a reaction. Fuck. Sit through this
Final Cut Pro to the next level with the ultimate bundle. Just $99 for every single Final Cut plugin in one huge bundle.
I might look into that once I either clear up space on this MacBook or purchase another laptop and put it on there. Boom, boom.
I'm the Black Slim Shady. This is a 10-minute diss track against Eminem, who quite literally has not said one single thing about the game.
At all.
Not
at all.
1 cent per minute of this diss track immediately.
Hey, Grandma. Yeah, I'm still out making my Uber runs. I just got one more pickup, kinda close to 8 Mile.
Math time. The song starts off with a phone call from the viewpoint of one Matthew Mitchell, the younger brother of Stan, in which Eminem created an entire legacy behind. Matthew's dead, by the way. He died in 2013 in the song Bad Guy, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Matthew Mitchell, big bro is for you. Oh, hope you can swim good. Now say you hate homos again.
Stan came out in the year 2000, and we know that Stan was like...
We're going to play it back, because that was a hard... That little
dudes like
snippet
me, but
was
without
pretty
further
hard.
ado, here is Everything Wrong with Black Slim Shady.
Because, yeah, it's been years since I've listened to I'm the Black Slim Shady. That's one of the
This is a
few
10-minute
good
diss track against Eminem, who quite literally has not said one single thing about the game.
at all.
Not one thing.
At
One
all.
sin per minute of this diss track immediately.
Fair enough.
Hey, Grandma. Yeah, I'm still out making my Uber runs. I just got one more pickup, kinda close to 8 Mile.
Math time. The song starts off with a phone call from the viewpoint of one Matthew Mitchell, the younger brother of Stan, in which Eminem created an entire legacy behind. Matthew's dead, by the way. He died in 2013 in the song Bad Guy.
Oh, yeah, I
We'll get to that in a
remember.
minute.
Matthew Mitchell, big bro is for you.
It's been years
hope
I've
you can
listened to
swim
this song.
good. Now say you hate homos again.
Stan
Damn.
came out in the year 2000, and we know that Stan was like Eminem in every way imaginable, which is why he was so obsessive with it. With that into account, we can assume that he was about the same age as Eminem, which would make this year his 50th birthday. Being that he and Matthew are brothers, they have the same mother, obviously, meaning that they also have the same grandmother. With that into account, in 1972, the year in which Stan was born, the median age in which a mother had her first child was 26.7 years old, making Stan and Matthew's mother born in the year 1945 and roughly 77 years old. And in 1945, the year in which Matthew and Stan's mother was born, the median age for a woman to have her first child was 22.8 years old, making Stan and Matthew's grandmother born in 1922, making her 100 years old. That bitch does not have a phone. That bitch don't even know what Uber is. And that bitch ain't alive. Neither is Matthew. This is a conversation between ghosts. Also, Uber strictly prohibits you from touching your phone for phone calls while driving. It's 3 demand points and
That's funny as fuck. Yeah, most old people don't have no idea about Ubers or use cell phones. I mean, no shot towards them, but a lot of them don't have no idea about this fancy technology. Unless they have a nephew or niece or their own kids, showing them how to use the shit. You know what I mean? That's just real shit. But yeah, damn, Game took it out.
And you can clearly hear that awesome Michigan infrastructure road noise in the background as he's on his way to pick up his last passenger for the night. And since we don't hear his grandmother's voice through the Bluetooth speakers in the car, we know that he's not using the allowed hands-free option. Ghosts are bad Uber drivers. The classic "you don't know who you're fucking with" trope in a diss track. Also, literally no one has said anything.
At
Eminem,
all.
the person that this song is about, has not said a thing. He is quite literally not fucking with you because he hasn't said a word.
At all. The Black Slim Shady.
Hey, an Eminem cadence. Get used to that. Hey, an Eminem cadence. Get used to that. Get used to a lot of this generic rhyming that doesn't really mean anything at all. Also, the game rhymes the word sick with sick 4 different times in the first 4 opening bars.
Wow.
I understand he's rhyming other words with sick as well, but sick 4 different times is too many sicks. I'm sick
Quite
of sicks.
lazy.
Hey, the game talking about his dick. Get used to that. Crawling out the driver's side like a centipede? Of all things that crawl, a centipede? There's no other connection to that line at all. It's quite literally just something that crawls, and it's a very lazy line, which is funny because at the end of this song, you're gonna hear about the game telling Eminem not to be lazy when he responds. Hey, more useless rhyming. Get used to that. Game forgets to...
Now, you gotta admit, though, Game does a good impression of Slim Shady. Like, he low-key's writing a love letter to that nigga. You gotta admit to that. Even though a lot of rhymes that's been broken down as quite generic and sounds some shit you heard in another Game song, like, you gotta admit, Game does a good Eminem impression. You know what I mean? Even though it kind of takes points away from being a diss record. You know what I mean? It would be different if he was dissing him.
Spelling, so instead of game, he's now Gam. Also, hey, an Eminem cadence. Get used to that.
Putting this big black dick in your skims.
Hey,
Hold up.
I'm finna be on a jet to the Philippines.
hey, more useless rhyming. Get used to that.
G-A-50-50-M, pay my face, I'm him.
Game forgets to add an E when he's spelling, so instead of game, he's now
Misspells it
Gam.
somewhere.
Also, hey, an Eminem cadence. Get used to that.
Putting this big black dick in your skims.
Hey, the game talking about his dick. Get used to that. Also, what the fuck is a skim? Every definition that I've looked up, every noun, verb, everything, slang, Urban Dictionary, everywhere I've looked, there's nothing that would make sense.
At all.
Killed Dr. Dre in my basement last night.
Hey, an Eminem cadence. Get used to that. Also, game rhymes last night with last night 5 different times in this section.
Basement last night.
Lazy.
Last night. Ate shit last night. Placed it last night. Tasted last night.
I understand that he's rhyming other words as well, but it's quite literally already done this tactic in this very same song, and we're not even 20% of the way through this 10-minute diss track.
That's my taste and my smell. I got a Marion.
Twitter joke. Also, that counts as a COVID bar, and those are automatic sins nowadays.
Me and Dr. Fauci went to Crazy Girls, and then we got a party on.
Dr. Fauci is the chief medical advisor to the United States, and he got famous because of COVID, so get different times in this section.
Basement last night, wasted last night, shit last night, placed it last night, tasted last night.
I understand that he's rhyming other words as well, but he's quite literally already done this tactic in this very same song, and we're not even 20% of the way through this 10-minute diss track.
Lost my taste and my smell, I got a Marion.
Twitter joke. Also, that counts as a COVID bar, and those are automatic sins nowadays.
I
Me and Dr.
suppose.
Fauci went to Crazy Girls, and then we got a party on.
Dr. Fauci is the chief medical advisor to the United States, and he got famous because of COVID. So guess what? Another COVID bar, another COVID sin.
So E5 thumb, I'm with 40 going dumb, not E40 the other 40. I'm with Canadians at Drake House having a stakeout.
This is a very sloppy transition where
Very
there's a line
sloppy.
thrown in that completely does not rhyme with anything between two other rhymes that set different rhyme schemes apart. Thumb and dumb rhyme with each other. Drake's house and stakeout rhyme with each other, but not E40 the other 40 means nothing at all here.
What's beef? Beef is when you tell a chef to bring them steaks out.
Yes, game, that is actual beef. But quite literally,
These men bring the steaks out. If you going Alright, shut up. Shut up.
quite literally the exact opposite of the beef that he's referring to and trying to make a punchline about with the Biggie Smalls song, and does so very unsuccessfully.
Two got to go to sleep.
Stay the fuck up off of Stanley grass and take a shit in their yard.
Hey, more random ass rhymes. Get used to that.
And my dick stay hard.
Hey, the game talking about his dick. Get used to that.
My dick get little on the internet.
And whenever I hear a game drop a, after listening to this a little bit in this past few minutes, hearing those dick bars or whatever, it reminds me of those dick prints pics that game used to post back in 2015, which is cringe at best. Like, nah, they weren't dick print, they were meat print. He called them meat print photos. He used to upload Instagram photos of him in like boxer briefs and shit, and put meat print, hashtag meat print and shit. It was so weird. It's like, we don't need to know this. I really need to know what you're packing downstairs, dude.
Hey, the game talking about his dick. Get used to that.
Chuck?
Yeah.
The game apparently uses a fake name, Chuck, to order this Uber driver that he just so happens to know was going to be Matthew. But if you've ever ordered Uber, you know that you don't get to pick your driver. Your driver actually picks the trips itself. And according to the Uber driver's current employee ratings tab, there's at least 68 drivers at any given time in Detroit. And that's just people who decided to review their job status. So it's the absolute bare minimum amount of people working there. Meaning at the absolute best odds, the game would have a 1.4% chance of actually getting Matthew as his Uber driver. Did he just keep ordering Ubers all day like Ricky Bobby's dad kept ordering pizzas to get his son as a delivery driver? Hell, that pizza shop only had 4 delivery drivers. It still took him 4 times before he finally got Ricky Bobby. So does that mean that the game ordered 67 other Ubers before he finally got this one? Also, you have to register some form of identification when making an Uber account. They literally did this to prevent what the game is planning to do later on in this song. So this whole Chuck charade is just a load of shit.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that shit anymore.
Is that a COVID reference?
You got a charger up there with you?
Yeah, for sure.
Because the game's phone's nearly dead from ordering 67 Ubers before this one.
Hey, yo, what the fuck is this starter kit?
Oh man, whenever Crypt brings up facts within these diss records to kind of rip apart the logic of these songs, it's just so funny. Yeah, I haven't kept tabs on how Uber's little policies are, but that's great that they've managed to like have people register their identification in order to prevent people from being kidnapped and all that crazy shit. It's great to have them to do that because Uber drivers need to be safe. They're people and they need to get back home to their families. So that's great on them. But damn, game did not do no research when putting this record together.
Hard as fuck.
Because if you didn't already know this is Matthew, the game really wants you to know this is Matthew. Also, holy year 2000 stuck in the past.
Crazy
Yep.
story behind it. My brother Stan, rest in peace.
Does Matthew forget the 7-minute tirade that he went on in 2013 in the song Bad Guy where he drove off a bridge and killed himself? Is this like the Halloween franchise where we completely forget that certain plot lines exist?
Sounds about right.
I love that they went into detail because Stan actually dropped 22 years ago, but they forget the details that, I don't know, Matthew's dead!
Eminem. He used to be like this rap god.
Bad Guy, the song that Matthew killed himself in, happened before Rap God on the Marshall Mathers LP 2 track list. So Matthew, knowing that he died in Bad Guy, would have no idea that the song Rap God even exists. The game is trying to make Matthew have a play on words with Eminem's song Rap God, but even if you ignore the fact that he's talking to a ghost right now, Matthew still feasibly could not be aware of the song.
Nope,
you can
not
argue
at
that
all.
Rap God was a single and dropped 2 weeks before the album, so maybe there was a slight chance that Matthew heard it, but no.
Maybe,
The album was already available for pre-order and the track list was available at the time, so all songs were already created. Also, why is he explaining who Eminem is? He's driving on 8 Mile. Literally anywhere in the world, of all places, that is where everyone will know who Eminem is. But all this is redundant, because Matthew's dead!
Eminem made my brother
Ain't it, bro?
That's when I was little. I don't really like any of his new stuff.
So why the fuck are you still wearing the hat with
Exactly,
the signature? Also,
bruh.
why has he been wearing this hat for 22 years? That signature would definitely be gone with normal wear and tear. Wouldn't the
Gone.
new stuff be considered recovery for Matthew Mitchell from 2010 since he died before Marshall Mathers LP2 was released? Recovery was fucking awesome. Even Machine Gun Kelly liked Recovery, and he even said this in a diss track to Eminem. I don't know. This whole... So why the fuck are you still wearing the hat with the signature? Also, why has he
Good
been wearing
point.
this hat for 22 years? That signature would definitely be gone with normal wear and tear. Wouldn't the new stuff be considered recovery for Matthew Mitchell from 2010 since he died before Marshall Mathers
That's true.
LP2 was released? Recovery was fucking awesome.
It
Even
was.
Machine Gun
It
Kelly
was.
liked Recovery, and he even said this in a diss track to Eminem. I don't know. This whole speaking to Matthew thing is full of non-stop logical fallacies that
lot
I'm
of
just gonna keep harping on because...
I feel you,
Wait,
Crypt.
I know where we're going. Wait, why do you have a...
Yo, shut
Hey man, I'm driving. I'll get you there. Wait.
The game is kidnapping Matthew at gunpoint, even though there's a paper trail leading back exactly to who the game is and where they're at in their current location. Uber protects their drivers, dog.
All right.
I love that Matthew refuses to shut up here, even though the game tells him to shut the fuck up with a gun to his head, and he still continues to talk.
All I got is my word, my dick, and my Mac 10.
Hey, the game talking about his dick. Get used to that.
One thing you can never have is my motherfucking black skin.
Another diss claiming that Eminem wants to be black as its main premise of the diss. What's this, the 45th one that we've heard so far?
So, he goes black. I'm on the map with him.
Hey, an Eminem cadence. Get used to that.
He got all the blackest friends. He wants to be African. Me.
Ah, the You Wanna Be Me program. We always hear in diss tracks. Also, more Eminem wants to be black disses. If only we haven't already heard this topic being harped on in disses by Nick Cannon, Cannabis, Nick Cannon again, as is K. Rhino, D'Angelo Bailey's lawyer, Cannabis again, Ja Rule, Everlast, Benzino, Nick Cannon a third time, Benzino again, Cannabis a third time, The Source Magazine, ICP Evidence, ICP again, Haystack, and Benzino a third time.
Left for dead on the doctor's
Hold up. So, hold on. What's his name? Haystack made a diss record about him? I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, he definitely proves a point though, because that's what kind of fails with Game's diss record, because, you know, he bring up a tired ass argument about Eminem wanting to be black, which has not been proven to be true. Plus, multiple people have said the same, have used this as a diss in several diss records. You know what I mean? So not only Game lost points for not being original, come up with the original argument, but using one that's been disproven time and time again.
Never executive produced it, I just imagined it.
Isn't this supposed to be about Eminem? Is he still salty that Dre didn't produce the Doctor's album? There's very obvious reasons why Dr. Dre did not produce that. Why is that even being mentioned right here? And the album still went number one. It sold 360,000 copies first week. So what the fuck is he mad about? If anything, it's 50 Cent's fault that Dr. Dre didn't produce it, not Eminem's.
Here goes the magic tricks, candy shops, and the magic stick.
Hey, an Eminem cadence. Get used to that. Also, the game is swapping back and forth between mockingly trying to rap how he thinks Eminem sounds using Eminem's cadence, and also rapping how the game truly raps. And honestly, the lines are starting to get blurred, so now I can't even tell what is real and what's being exaggerated.
Angelo Bailey got in shape to whip your ass again.
He's bringing up Eminem's middle school bullying? What? That dude sued in the early 2000s because he said Eminem lied about being bullied, even though D'Angelo Bailey went on several shows and said that he actually did bully Eminem. He then proceeded to lose the lawsuit, and the judge wrapped the verdict back to him. If any time in history, that would have been the time to get back in shape and whip his ass because of how embarrassing it was. Not 20 years later.
So pass me the...
Yeah, I love this video, man.
Pass me the torch, cause the torture in my mind with the voice that defied rhymes.
Hey, another Eminem cadence with useless rhyme schemes. Are you used to it yet? Because it's happened to fuck tons.
You depressed, you just masking it. You pop an Adderall, a Vicodin, and an aspirin.
Contrary to this statement, Eminem has actually been quite open about being depressed.
Yeah.
It's literally the first 5
Very
words of
open.
his song Beautiful.
I'm just so fucking depressed.
I was in the white Rolls Royce with 5 nines.
Earlier, he said all he had was his dick and his
and
back
his back
10.
ten.
Now he's got 5.9
5
millimeters.
nines.
What the fuck happened?
All I got is my word, my dick, and my Mac 10. I was in the white Rolls Royce with 5 nines.
Also, he really stretched this 5.9s thing to make the Royce the 5.9 punchline that's coming up, and that's just bad writing. This is what I was talking about earlier, with the lines being blurred. I can't tell if he's trying to rap like an over-exaggerated old-school Eminem or rapping like he normally raps now.
Might just force the white guy to call D12 so he can be the pork that grinds swine.
Eminem and D12 haven't been a solid group together since 2006. Why is this being mentioned?
The biggest rap in Detroit, that award is Sean Dimes.
It's quite literally not. Whether you're talking album sales, monthly listeners on Spotify, what have you.
Oh, I'm gonna play this thing back, man.
I was talking about
I
earlier
love
with the
hearing
lines
this.
being blurred. I can't tell if he's trying to rap like an over-exaggerated old-school Eminem or rapping like he normally raps now.
Might just force the white guy to call D12 so he can be the pork that grinds swine.
Eminem and D12 haven't been a solid group together since 2006. Why is this being mentioned?
I don't know.
It's quite literally not. Whether you're talking
False.
album sales, monthly listeners on Spotify, what have you, none of those are true. I love Big
None
Sean,
at
but
all.
this is just not factual.
So I'm corking the Chardonnay and stick my fork in white wine.
Oh, I get it now. He did it so he could have a punchline about Big Sean's song Marvin and Chardonnay and White Wine. But that's still a forced punchline based
Very
off the
forced.
lie that Big Sean is the biggest rapper in Detroit. It's very similar to the Royce to 5'9" bar where he just kind of made stuff up out of thin air so he can make a punchline try to work.
I never heard you in a club. I never heard you in a bar.
I'm not much of a club goer, but the one time that I did go to a club back in 2013, I went to Club La Vila in Panama City, Florida. I vividly remember the Yin Yang Twins being the main act for that night, and as part of the hype-up music, they played 50 Cent's Into Club and Eminem's Crack a Bottle. Coincidentally,
What?
a game song was not played that evening. Also, you cannot tell me that Shake That was not played in millions of clubs across the U.S.
I'm sure they were. Ass for me, shake that ass for me.
Same goes for Smack That with Akon.
All on the floor, smack that.
Also, if this was the criteria for being one of the best rappers ever, we'd have a lot of shit rappers in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
This is just a bad stance from an argument that people have said for years now.
11 hours and 10 never got play inside of my
Right, I'm gonna save this for last bit of the video because it's probably longer than it needs to be. But that's very true though. Like, especially Shake That, because it came out like in the era when like if you had Nate Dogg on your hook, it was a hit. And of course, Smack That. Obviously, they play that song back to back in the club because Akon and Eminem. Come on now, like Akon was the biggest thing at the time as well. Of course, M was even in 06. But yeah, like that song was a bop. I mean, I was 14, so I wasn't in. Of course, I wasn't old enough to go in no clubs. I'm quite sure it got hella play in the club though when that song came out.
So far, I've counted exactly 3 copies to a T of Eminem flows. We have the flow from Lose Yourself, which came from Eminem's Curtain Call or 8 Mile soundtrack, depending on which one you want to use. It doesn't really matter.
So, he goes platinum and I'm on the map with him.
The flow from My Name Is, which came from the Slim Shady LP.
I'm the Black Slim Shady.
And some flows and sound effects from the real Slim Shady, which came from the Marshall Mathers LP.
I killed Dr. Dre in my basement last night.
There's also at least 4 other times where Game's rapping in a very familiar Eminem cadence.
Very
Torture
familiar.
in my mind with the voice that defied rhymes. Sick in the brain, sick is the day that I came. G.A. 50 M, pay my face, I'm him. Crawling out the driver's side like a centipede. And me, I'm finna be on a jet to the Philippines. Philippines.
I just can't be bothered to dig through all the songs to find the exact ones because this is already a 12.